Welcome to my review for the Conduit on the Wii.
We ask for truth all the time. When that truth threatens to tear apart the fundamental beliefs of your world, can you still accept it? Even when it's better to remain ignorant, when it's too dangerous to reveal, we still demand the truth at all costs, never really understanding the price we agreed to pay.
The truth is, this guy sounds too cool. The truth is, I think he needs a lozenge. And the following is the truth of how I truthfully feel about this game.
The Conduit is a science fiction first-person shooter, based on what I presume is modern times or at least the not-too-distant future. If they said the date at the beginning of the game, to be honest, I missed it, I must have not been paying attention. So this first-person shooter reminds me an awful lot of the type of first-person shooter I would have found in the early 90s after Doom was taking a big rise in success. For some reason, I get reminded of Corridor 7 specifically, if anyone's played that game. But that's not putting down the game at all. I myself had a lot of fun with those games. You know, the kind where you just walk in a room, pick up a gun, and start shooting whoever's in front of you. It's the simplicity that makes it fun. If you're someone who likes to have an epic story tied in with their gameplay, then the Conduit probably isn't for you. The story is about as well thought out and prepared as a Knight Rider episode.
Michael, we need to move quickly. Drudge forces are converging on the Pentagon.
Okay, Kit, let's go! Actually, Kit isn't in this game, and actually there are no vehicles in this game. It's one of those little things that you seem to take for granted, or at least I take for granted, in first-person shooters these days, where usually they'll throw in a vehicle level at some point during the game. This one, you're always on foot. There's no Jeep to jump in, there's no turret to take control of, there's no upgrade system. It's a very straightforward first-person shooter title. But again, it does have a simplicity I was able to enjoy. So it may not have all the bells and whistles of first-person shooters of today, but it did seem to carry over one particular trait where you can only carry 2 weapons at a time, plus whatever type of grenade you have on hand. Which is too bad, because in this type of shooter, I always feel it's nice to be able to have your guy armed to the teeth with 10 different guns, and there is a nice variety of weapons available in this title. They range in 3 different classes, which are the standard human weapons that you would expect. So your machine guns and assault rifles. Then there's the trust weapons, which are energy-based and more advanced weaponry, and then you have the alien weapons. Having to only stick to 2 at a time felt kind of limiting, as did the power of what I would have expected some of the larger weapons to be. For example, the rocket launcher didn't seem to give me much more an advantage compared to some of the other weapons available. Health packs are also available throughout the levels, but after a couple missions, you do get a suit that allows you to regenerate health. The level design is fairly linear and straightforward. Environments will range from government buildings to underground facilities to city streets. Most of the levels did provide an enjoyable time, although there were a few moments of frustration, and I'm particularly confused as to why they seem, at least for me, to decide to put the hardest mission in the game just a few levels in. But those high stress-inducing times are few and far between, as are unfortunately the boss fights, which I felt there could have been a few more of. Although I was a little bit disappointed that the control scheme isn't best for use in the Wii Zapper, overall they do work well. The only real exception, I would say, is how you throw your grenades, which is by flicking the nunchuck. It was just a little bit annoying when on occasion I had to, say, scratch my forehead, and the motion of my hand ended up allowing me to throw a grenade, exploding in front of me. There are plenty of calibration controls, however, to adjust for your sensitivity, so you get a feel to the controls that you like. In an attempt to add replayability to the game, they also included lots of secret items that you can search for. With a certain old-school charm, if you enjoy more straightforward first-person shooters, and you own a Wii, I feel the Conduit is worth picking up.